Hello, this is our last lesson in Chapter 6. It is 6-9, Math Practices and Problem Solving with Reasoning. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Our first problem says 92 buttons are in a box. Grandma uses some to sew on a new shirt. Now 70 buttons are in the box. How many buttons did Grandma use on the shirt? So let's go ahead and use our bar diagram to figure out what are we missing? Are we missing a part? Are we missing a whole? We need to figure that out. Remember in my last video, when I have story problems, I always underline or box the numbers that I'm going to be using because I need to know which numbers I'm using in my problem. And the second thing that I do is I always figure out what I'm doing. So usually the question is at the end of all the sentences on what you're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and underline it. It says, how many buttons did Grandma use on the shirt? So we are trying to figure out how many buttons she used. So she started out with 92. So that's our whole. She started out with 92 buttons. Then she used some buttons to sew on a new shirt. Now she has 70 buttons left in that box. So that's one of our parts. Now we're trying to figure out what our other part is. How many buttons did she use out of that 92 originally? And now she has 70 left. So now we need to figure out if we're adding or subtracting. So I don't think we're going to add in this situation because you have 70 plus, you could go 70 plus, we don't know yet, equals 92. That one's trickier to do addition with this problem because you can't really think of 70 plus, I don't know what else equals 92. So in this problem, we are going to be subtracting. So we have 92, which is our whole, minus 70. So 2 minus 0, we don't have to regroup in this problem. And so we are just going to subtract straight down. 2 minus 0 equals 2. 9 minus 7 equals 2. So Grandma used 22 buttons on the new shirt. She sewed 22 buttons on the shirt. So let's go ahead and make a little sentence because this is, the sentence after it is telling you what you did in the problem. So I'm going to make a little sentence saying, this will move. Nope, not what I want. All right, perfect. All right, Grandma used 22 buttons to sew on her new shirt. You could also write more sentences to explain your thinking, explain your reasoning. So you could say, Grandma started out with 92 buttons. She used 22 buttons to sew on her new shirt. Now she has 70 buttons left in her box. That is just reasoning. That is explaining what you did in that problem. And you can always use manipulatives. You could draw it out. You can use little counters to try to figure out what the answer is to this problem. But you always want to write a little reason. You don't have to write it that long. But you always want to write a little reason on how you found the answer to be able to know that you understand it. So I have one more problem for us. It says Joe has 43 pencils. Lynn has 14 more pencils than Joe. How many pencils does Lynn have? So my first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to underline our two numbers that we're going to be using in this problem, 43 and 14. And then I'm going to underline what are we doing in this problem. Remember, I always say usually the question is at the end of all these sentences. So it says, how many pencils does Lynn have? So we're trying to figure out how many pencils does Lynn have. And this word says more. Usually when you see the word more, you know you know you're going to be adding them. So we have Joe has 43. I'm going to use my bar diagram or my part whole map. And then Lynn has 14. And we're trying to figure out how many more pencils does Lynn have. So Joe has 43. Lynn has 14 more, but we don't know that number yet. So we're going to try to figure that out. So our problem is going to be 43 plus 14. And we're trying to figure out our whole. So we can just add them going straight through. We have 3 plus 4 equals 7, and 4 plus 1 equals 5. So our answer is 57. So Lynn has 57 pencils. Joe has 43, and Lynn has 14 more pencils than Joe. You could also, if you want to figure, remember we did our thinking addition where if you had a subtraction problem, you can use addition to make sure that you are correct. You can also do 57, now that we have this answer, minus 43, and our answer is going to be 14, because that is a fact family. So you have, or you could have done, I meant to do 43, but this will give you the same answer. 7 minus 4 equals 3, and 5 minus 1 equals 4. So see, you have your 43 there. That's our fact family. All right, I hope this helped. Make sure that you're always, oh, I need to write my reason actually. You need to write a little sentence on how you got your answer. So I'm going to say, Lynn, oh, that went away. Lynn, and my computer's not working. Well, my sentence would be, Lynn has 57 pencils, 14 more than Joe. That would be my sentence. Oh, there we go. Lynn has 57 pencils. She has 14 more pencils than Joe. Joe has 43 pencils. So that's just my reasoning behind my problem, writing a little sentence after you solve it. All right, I hope that helped. I will see you guys later. Bye.